Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I'm your host, Phil. All right, let's take a look at the stories we are going to be diving into today. As the title of the episode says, how much Bitcoin to retire? That's right. We've got a nice little chart that may give, makes people like me a little bit more optimistic, but it may make a whole bunch of us optimistic. We're going to take a look at that chart. There's also some more technical hopium, and we're going to take a look at those charts because, of course, there's a lot of signals that are showing that we've bottomed. And there's also another piece that was given to us by fellow Bitcoiner TK, which is just a masterful thread of possibilities, and we're going to take a look at it. Taiwan, that's right. Taiwan stepping up the strategic Bitcoin reserve aspirations. And of course, I'm actually going to tell you the truth about it, which will be a lot less fun, but at least you'll be thinking accurately about it. And that's right. That's what matters. Fablecoins. Yeah, that's my, instead of calling them stables, we just call them fables because they are totally fake. And all they are is just the US dollar in disguise. And we're going to take a look at some announcements from Visa and Kyrgyzstan. Square payments. Maybe already the shine is starting to come off of the Square payments. Everybody's all excited. Yeah, adoption. I'm excited about it too, right? Yay, more people getting to use Bitcoin and Lightning. But it's, I don't know. We're going to take a look at that. And the sovereign individual thesis playing out in real time. We are going to take a look at that. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know retired by what standard. That's why it's Hopium Z logic. Anyways, all right, guys, you know the deal. We're going to give a shout out to the Pleb Underground sponsor, and we are going to be right back to dive into all the fun. Let's frickin' go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right, here we go. That's right, guys. The death cross. Anyways, Bitcoin is about to have its fourth death cross of the cycle. Each one has marked a major bottom. September 2023, August 2024, April 2025, and right now. So we can see what happened according to history after it did this. Is it over? I don't think so. I don't think it's over. I think we still got some room to run, but I do know that there's other accounts like TXMC that are positing that maybe we have topped. I don't know. I just don't buy it. I'm not feeling the exuberance. But again, it could just be because I'm in the echo chamber. But for me, I'm not seeing the exuberance. I'm not seeing all the ridiculous shenanigans yet. Of course, there's shenanigans. But they're not at the level of shenanigans that we had seen in past cycles. Anyways, all right, the big piece, right? Everybody wants to know how much Bitcoin do they need to retire? All right, it's got this solid little chart here from Smitty's Bitcoin retirement guide. And I mean, look, the TLDR is as the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin price continues to go up, you simply need less and less Bitcoin to retire. Now, what's pretty interesting here is current age. Okay, so I'm not going to dox my age, but instead we'll take a look at somebody around the age of 55. Well, if they would want to retire now, they would need about 10 Bitcoin. If they want to retire in 2030, they need about 4 Bitcoin. And of course, I'm choosing this because I'm a Gen Xer. So I'm going to stick in my age range. But look, I think what the key is over here, which I actually think this is pretty funny, but look, if your current age is 75, what's pretty funny is that if you want to retire in 2030, you only need 3. But obviously 20, you're most likely dead. So it's 0. Anyways, whatever. But look, guys, TLDR, we all gonna make it. Stack, zoom out. Okay, this thing doesn't just go up in a straight line. All right, this is what the Hopium dealers want to have you believe, right? I fell for that narrative too. Okay, 2 cycles ago, I was sitting there stacking as we crumbled because I was waiting for the next top. Right? That's it. We were going to the moon. Right? We were going to the moon in 2017, 2018. Here we are in 2025. Moon not reached. So, well, I guess that's subjective, right? It depends. If you were buying Bitcoin at like, $10 or something like that, or 30 cents, then yeah, moon was reached for you. So, little bit of perspective there. Also, the other piece that I want to mention about this, right, just to be accurate about it, and obviously everybody has different wants and desires, right? Everybody has a different standard of living, right? There's different things that everybody wants out of life. So these numbers, although yeah, you use them as a frame, but it's not it's not a one size fits all. Everybody has a different life they want to live. Like that, there's some people that genuinely believe that their life is somehow worse if they're not driving an overpriced car, or their house isn't big enough, or they don't have a bunch of fancy crap or an overpriced watch, whatever it is, right? And these things, these are trade-offs, right? You're going to trade your value for these items so that you can prove to the other apes in our lives that hey, you can waste resources, and then there you go. So anyways, to each their own. All right, moving on. Death cross and how much Bitcoin it's going to take to retire. Not too much, and the number keeps going down, which is completely unsurprising. The last piece I want to say about this is I'll try to find the chart for this, but there was a similar chart 5 years ago, and you need a lot more Bitcoin. So you need a lot more Bitcoin. That's very nice. Okay, so here's the this post from TK, who is I believe he's the host or co-host of or Bitcoin Orange Sun, which is a space that takes place on Twitter in the mornings. Anyways, this is a solid Hopium post. Let's dive into it. So Shanaka and Slim Pereira. Dive into what he says. This is good stuff. So here we go. Bitcoin's $100,000 floor is not natural. And I know you're thinking right away, oh man, this guy's gonna FUD us. That's it. It's all fake. Hang on. It's engineered. Oh wait, this sounds like it's getting worse. And what happens next will crater everything you thought you knew about money. So I think he's talking about to the normies here. I don't think he's necessarily talking to Bitcoiners. Long-term hodlers just executed the largest silent transfer in crypto history. 300,000 BTC liquidated since July. 33 billion in profits sold directly into institutional hands while you were watching memes. Actually, I was hodling Bitcoin and making memes, but I get your point. BlackRock and Fidelity now control 1.4 million Bitcoin through ETFs, 139 billion in assets after bleeding 2.9 billion in October. November reversed, 300 million flooded back in 72 hours. That's a far cry from 2.9 billion. But anyways, MicroStrategy stacked another 487 BTC to 641K. The vault is locking. All right, here we go, guys. This is where we start to go into the depth of Hopium. Our window is closing. Don't have too much time left. Volatility collapsed from 60% to 35%, the lowest post-halving compression ever recorded. Unrealized losses at 3.1%. No panic, no capitulation, just absorption. I'm going to agree with this. Here's what they're not telling you. 71% of all Bitcoin remains in profit. The crowd thinks this is the top. The data screams accumulation. Perpetual funding premiums died 65%. Retail leverage evaporated. Institutions stopped trading and started hodling. Oh boy, the 4-year cycle is dead. I don't know if I agree with that one yet, but we'll see. ETFs killed it. ETFs probably took out a lot of the momentum, right? They probably took out a lot of the implied volatility, but human behavior is still human behavior. Anyways, 2024's halving gave plus 41% versus historical 150%. But this time there's a $139 billion bid standing between you and the 70% drawdown. Guys, I like it. You know what he's saying? This time it's different. Your decision point, 112,500 short-term hodler cost basis. Break above with 500 million weekly inflows and 150K prints by summer 2026. Okay, we've got a new We've got another prediction. We're going to see 150K by 2026, breaks 100K downward, and 88.5 comes the final defense before something breaks systemically. While America stares at 35 trillion in debt and the Fed plays recession roulette, Bitcoin is becoming the parallel reserve, whether or not anyone admits it. Can't disagree. The transfer already happened. The markup starts when you stop expecting it. Pretty solid hopium. I appreciate that. That's good stuff. Come on, you have to admit that that's good hopium. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. There's always more. There's always more hopium. All right. Next up. Growing 100K salary with Bitcoin. That's right. If you are storing the majority of your salary in Bitcoin, or in this case, right, 25% auto invested in Bitcoin, you can clearly see it's obviously a great move, right? I did that every time I was getting a paycheck. It was like the first thing I was doing. At first, I would try to rationalize, and I was like, I'm not going to buy it right away. I'll wait for a dip. That didn't work out. That just didn't work out. It was just so much easier for me to just stack. It really was. Okay. Anyways, we got some more stuff, guys. More for the hopium. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. It's some sovereign stuff. Okay. Anyways, sorry guys. Let's go take a look at Taiwan, right? We're excited about Taiwan. So, Taiwan Central Bank to explore Bitcoin's reserves. Pilot BTC holdings. Yay, we're excited. Taiwan. The initiative is led by legislator Dr. Ju-Chun Ko and supported by Samson Mao, CEO of Jan3. That's right. Samson goes around. Used to work for Blockstream. Now he goes around and he tries to convince countries to make Bitcoin their strategic reserves, or as in the El Salvador, the time of El Salvador getting a lot of attention. He was pushing those volcano bonds. Yeah, that didn't quite work out. But anyways, we're excited, right? Taiwan, strategic Bitcoin reserve, right? Strategic Bitcoin reserve. Just keep that in the back of your head as I continue to go through these details. He argued that even a small allocation of Bitcoin could improve Taiwan's preparedness against global currency shocks and financial instability. No lies detected there. While no formal policy has yet been enacted, it appears like the central bank intends to conduct detailed studies and pilot BTC holdings with... Oh, no way. Oh, seized Bitcoin. The fuck out of here. No way. They're just... Why is nobody buying it? Why are they just using seized Bitcoin? It's almost like it's so much easier. It's almost like the state enforces violence and the state can't be held accountable except to themselves. It's great. Seizures are the best. You know what? How do we get into a situation where ordinary citizens can go and seize Bitcoin and then make our own strategic Bitcoin reserves? Like, I currently have to work for it, right? I have to trade my time and stuff like that. Like, they get to just take it. How do we get that job? Oh, that's right. Got to compromise on a lot of morals and ethics and go into politics. Oh, I guess I'll just continue to work. Anyways, yeah, not too exciting. I know that, a lot of other media outlets painted it as, oh, this is great for Bitcoin. Yeah, it's great for somebody. It's definitely great for somebody. Anyways, stable coins, right? Take a look at some stable coins. Visa launches U.S. pilot allowing businesses to send stablecoin payouts directly from fiat funded accounts. And right, all the banks, they love Bitcoin. And guys, just so people are aware of the history, right? Visa and MasterCard, those two businesses were the banks before, okay? Until those businesses were spun out as their own. But make no mistake, Visa and MasterCard is just simply extensions, obviously, of the banking system. So what does that mean? Well, number one, it means they're not really interested in Bitcoin. And number two, what it means that's really important is that it's all about the US dollar. Kyrgyzstan launches $50 million of tokens in national stablecoin, right? Kyrgyzstan has, it's too many consonants. Anyways, has launched over 50 million worth of its national stablecoin, USDKG, backed by gold and pegged to the US dollar. Of course. Of course. It's always pegged to the US dollar. We are going to see, just so you know, guys, we are going to watch one of the most impressive shows of can kicking that history has ever seen, because we need to realize that in previous empires, right? In previous empires, everything was kinetic, everything was physical. We now have digital assets. We now have Bitcoin, right? All of these countries now have stablecoin that they could just issue out of nowhere. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be, and of course they're all backed against the US dollar. So this is going to be, in my eyes, one of the most epic can kicking. I think the Ottoman Empire lasted the longest. Was it them at 600 years? And they did a whole lot of, they did a whole lot of can kicking. But I'm very curious to see how much can kicking we in the US can get away with. How far can we make it? Anyways. All right. Let's keep going. But yeah, make no mistake, guys. It's all just can kicking. It's nothing else, right? Like we are at the stage, we are in the stage of the US dollar as a fiat currency completely failing. I mean, I know everybody says this 1,000 times, but it is actually accurate. And all of this stablecoin nonsense is pure extension of runway. That's all it is. Okay. Moving on. Go take a look at, all right, so Square, right? Everybody's seeing this video around, probably. I'm going to post this up. There's no volume on it, but, everybody's really excited, right? Showing the Square payments. I know 2 days ago I did a story on it as well, right? I'm pumped about this. This is adoption, good stuff. Yay, wonderful. Okay. However, and this is for people, I think, that maybe aren't necessarily aware or don't use Square, but I was using Square already a long time ago. But essentially, look, as you receive Bitcoin, it will be stored in your Square Bitcoin wallet. If you'd like to move it into self-custody, you'll be able to do so manually, max 15K per day or 50K per week. In all fairness, those limits have gone up. Those limits were actually much worse in the past. But for the people that are surprised by these limits from Cash App, it's just because you weren't using Cash App before and you weren't using Square. But these limits have been here the whole entire time. Fellow Bitcoiners like myself have been petitioning Square to either raise those limits or remove those limits, and that has, for the most part, fallen on deaf ears. I mean, like I just said, like, yeah, they raised the limit a bit, but there shouldn't be any limit at all, right? It kind of, unfortunately, that limit setting really implies some fuckery in the background. I'm not saying they're sketch, but I'm just saying it's like, why do you need that limit, right? Like, if you're not doing something with our funds, what does it make a difference when we send it, how we send it? What does that matter? The other piece that knocks the shine off the Square, the Square story is the truth about this is, in a year from now, everybody's going to have to start paying fees that's using this. So this is just right now, right? There's no fees on using your Square terminal, right? The vendors aren't paying any fees, but they will be, right? And I already covered this like 2-3 weeks ago when Square first announced this. The fees are coming. So right now it's all kumbaya and everybody's excited and yay, Square. And I like them too, but I'm just saying, we're already starting to see the cracks. You've got limits, fees are coming. No surprise there. No surprise. I see a lot of comments. What am I doing? Hey, that's a good one. It's hip to be square. That's an 80s song, isn't it? It is an 80s song. Yep. I agree. When the house of cards topples, it's going to be Old Testament level biblical. It's going to be pretty brutal. Z Logic, was that for Square? Did that happen to you on Square? The stuck for 10 minutes waiting, or was that this episode of this show? Anyways, hey, good morning, Matt. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I like to go through the comments, want to talk with people, right? This episode? Damn it. It's so weird. I don't know why it does that. All right, I'm going to blame StreamYard. It's the only thing I can think of. All right, last but not least, let's go take a look. We're going to dive into the I feel like yeah, that's right. The sovereign individual thesis playing out in real time. Let's take a quick look at this this video here. And this is actually this is based about the Coinbase news, right? That they're moving over to Texas.
Officially leaving Delaware and reincorporating in Texas. Company making that announcement in a Wall Street Journal op-ed by its chief legal officer, who says that Delaware's Chancellery Court is no longer providing companies, he believes, with consistency. He writes the following, quote, "The choice is much bigger than Coinbase as part of a movement of businesses choosing markets with favorable regulatory and judicial review systems. Several states have recently adopted policies aimed at increasing economic freedom, which drives competition, the laboratory of democracy at work." All of this, of course, comes in the face of Tesla moving to Texas and a number of other companies that have been talking about such a thing.
So if you haven't read The Sovereign Individual, then, you know, most likely this story just completely falls apart, right? But if you did read The Sovereign Individual, and if you didn't read it, I suggest you do read it. But if you did read it, then you understand what you're seeing, right? Like this is going to be one of the last bastions of freedom, right? You're going to have states that are going to essentially, they are going to want to incentivize, right? They're going to want to incentivize the best talent, you know, the smartest people, all of that good stuff. They're going to incentivize all of this behavior to come to their state. And one of the ways that they're going to be able to do it is with lower taxes, more economic freedom. The only thing that scares me, though, it always seems to be it's almost like a reoccurring story, right? We you know, you get these places, or you get these situations that start off like this, right? They start off all kumbaya. They start off like, yeah, okay, you know, this is going to be fair. This time it's different. And before you know it, the people in power want to remain in power. So therefore, it becomes more about ruling based on reputation rather than ruling based on work. And then round and round we go, and we end up back in the same situation again. So I do hope that maybe, I guess I have hope in human behavior changing, right? But yeah, you know, like I think that states don't have any other choice. You know, like what else are they supposed to do, right? You need to incentivize the talent. You need to incentivize the business. So, hey, what else are you going to do? You can only fight against the forces that are, you know, that are essentially working against us. And that is inflation and a whole lot of ridiculous regulation and laws, you know? And it's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, that's right. Karma is low time preference, but predictable. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a quote. I don't know who said this one, but it always sticks in my mind, right? Like, God does not undo his works undo themselves. And I like to think about that one a lot, right? So anyways, I figured I'd end the show on something a little spiritual there. Guys, have a great rest of the day. Tomorrow's going to be nuts. I've already got a whole bunch of I've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to be talking about. I on Fridays, I want to try to make it as festive as possible, right? So we can go into the weekend being happy, happy and excited. Anyways, guys, you have a great rest of the day, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Take it easy.